The scene erupted into chaos, flashing red lights, a shouting match, and my 16-year-old son, Logan, being shoved into a golf cart by two men in knockoff security uniforms. I dropped the rake in my hand and sprinted toward the gate, heart pounding like a jackhammer. "Get your hands off my kid," I roared, torn between disbelief and fury. The taller of the two, a balding man in his 50s with mirrored sunglasses and a beer belly, didn't even flinch. He was trespassing. He barked, like that somehow justified manhandling a teenager. "This is HOA property. We're authorized to detain for violations." "Oh, are you now?" I snapped, glaring at the HOA badge sewn on his cheap polo. "But let's rewind. My name is Daniel McAllister. I own 10 acres of wooded land just 30 minutes outside the city, in a quiet place called Pine Hollow. I bought it years ago, back when this place was nothing but trees and deer trails. After my wife left, I moved here for the peace. Just me, my son Logan, some chickens, and a red barn I've been slowly fixing up. I work as a mechanic, mid-40s, and I keep to myself. Always have. Everything was perfect until 3 years ago, when Maple Crest Estates sprang up on the other side of the tree line. Cookie-cutter houses, decorative street lamps, and an HOA so power-hungry you'd think they were running a dictatorship. I never signed a single document. My property predated their development, their clubhouse, their ridiculous bylaws. But that didn't stop Marissa Langford, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, from treating me like a subject under her reign. Marissa lived in the largest house at the neighborhood entrance. She drove a Lexus with a license plate that read R0YLTY and wore yoga outfits like she was auditioning for reality TV. One afternoon, she strutted up my driveway with a compliance packet in hand, claiming my red barn violated aesthetic guidelines, my chickens were too loud, and Logan, my own son, was an unregistered individual. I laughed in her face and told her she had no jurisdiction here. She did not take it well. It started small. Passive-aggressive letters. Anonymous code enforcement complaints. Trash mysteriously dumped near my fence. Typical HOA warfare. But what happened that day, what she pulled with Logan, crossed every line imaginable. Logan had been feeding the chickens and checking the barn fans when the HOA goons rolled up in a golf cart marked Maple Crest Enforcement. They saw a teenager in a hoodie near the property line and, without any warning, decided he was trespassing. They didn't ask. They didn't knock. They just grabbed him. What they didn't know was that Logan is the godson of our local police chief and smart as a whip. Polite. Knows his rights. And he always records when something doesn't feel right. His phone was rolling when they grabbed him. I stepped between them. "You just manhandled a minor on private property while impersonating officers. That's kidnapping." The shorter guy, nervous, sweaty, mumbled, "We're just following Ms. Langford's instructions." "You're going to follow my instructions now," I said, pointing toward the gate. "Get off my land." They left. Logan handed me his phone, brushing dust off his jeans. "I'm good," he said. But they tried to take my phone. 2 hours later, Marissa herself rolled up, clipboard in hand, acting like she had a hotline to the Supreme Court. "Your son was in a restricted zone," she declared. "He's banned from all Maple Crest communal areas. And we're assessing a $250 fine for noncompliance." I pointed to the chicken coop. "That's my land. You've trespassed here twice today. The HOA boundaries were updated this spring." "It's in our newsletter," she said smugly. I laughed. "So, you annexed private property like it's a war conquest?" The board voted. Majority rules. She handed me an eviction notice typed in Comic Sans. I stared at it. "I'm framing this. Actions have consequences," she warned. "So does impersonating law enforcement and kidnapping a minor." The next morning, it escalated again. Marissa and her HOA minions set up a hearing on my land. Folding table, lawn chairs, a homemade gavel, a banner that read "Community First." She marched up to my porch. "This is your final chance to comply. The board will decide your continued presence in Maple Crest." I sipped my coffee. "You're trespassing. This is the dumbest cosplay I've ever seen." She rattled off violations: livestock noise, drone interference, firearm discharge. "You mean when I shot down your illegal drone that was filming my son?" She ignored me, demanding $3,275 in fines and an emergency architectural review. Logan emerged with a folder, property deeds, boundary surveys, and the phone footage. This land belongs to us, he said calmly. As Marissa raised her gavel, sirens wailed. For squad cars rolled up. Out stepped Chief Holden, Logan's godfather. Officer, thank goodness you're here. Marissa cried. This man has been harassing the neighborhood. Holden held up a hand. We have video. 2 men unlawfully detained a minor on private property. The 2 wannabe enforcers, Greg and his nervous sidekick, were cuffed next to a lemonade pitcher. You can't do this. They're HOA security. Marissa protested. HOA security isn't law enforcement, Holden said. They have no authority to detain anyone, especially not in fake uniforms on land they don't own. Marissa fumed. He shot down my drone. Holden held up the charred remains. This drone recorded audio and thermal imaging over private land, without consent. That's a violation of federal law. She went quiet. Holden turned to Logan and me. You all right? Better now, Logan said. This ends today, Holden told Marissa. Your next conversation should be with a lawyer. As the cruisers pulled away with her enforcers, Marissa sped off in her Lexus, screaming, "This isn't over." But she regrouped fast. The next morning, a black sedan idled in my driveway. A man in a suit stepped out. Mr. McAllister, I represent Maple Crest Estates. Your property now falls within our revised boundaries. I laughed. You can't redraw lines and call it the law. He handed me an envelope with a lien notice, demanding compliance within 10 days. Logan suggested burning it. I called my cousin instead. Claire's a bulldog lawyer with a passion for crushing corrupt HOAs. She showed up with a whiteboard and a gleam in her eye. They violated zoning laws, privacy statutes, federal drone regulations, maybe even committed fraud, she said. Marissa started a smear campaign. Letters claiming I was a danger to the neighborhood. That Logan was a delinquent. But not all neighbors bought it. Tom, a longtime resident, brought one of the letters to me. This is garbage, he said. Everyone's sick of her. Marissa called in the zoning commission. Inspectors found no violations. I framed the notice. No issues found. Then came the FAA. The drone had captured thermal images and recorded a family barbecue. That meant massive fines and potential charges. Claire filed a lawsuit against Marissa and the HOA. Harassment, extortion, unlawful surveillance, trespassing, impersonation, defamation. Board members resigned en masse. Some apologized. Others offered to testify. Marissa's final move? A tow truck tried to haul my pickup, claiming an HOA order for overnight street parking. On my own land. I showed the driver Claire's injunction. He unhooked it and apologized, describing Marissa's homemade badge with a grimace. Claire filed an emergency order, granted within hours. It banned Marissa and the HOA from contacting us or attempting enforcement. The HOA dissolved. The clubhouse was sold. The golf carts auctioned. Marissa sold her house at a loss and left. I built a 12-foot cedar rooster on the edge of my property, facing her old house. Beneath it, a plaque. In memory of HOA tyranny. May she drone in peace. The neighbors loved it. Brought muffins to the unveiling. Logan and I returned to our peaceful life. Chickens, sunsets, steaks, no drones. Just justice, and one very proud rooster.